Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel. If today is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 500 videos that we have arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you have been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. Today in our Wednesday episode, or our midweek episode, we're going to do a full review of an item we did make a first look a few months ago, and that is the INSMA laser engraver printer, portable. What do you call that? Portable?
Well, yeah, it's a mini.
Small laser. We have used it quite a lot, so we're going to give us our impressions on how useful it is and what we think. We recommend that you buy it or not. So stick around, and we're going to talk about laser printing this week. After several months of using this device, I can say that it still works as it's supposed to work. We've not experienced any failures of the device, and we're going to show you some examples of what it can do. So these are some
Put kind of a collage there of different things that you found interesting to print.
Right, I've been just trying, so a lot of them are kind of printed over each other, but we have better examples on this page here. Sorry.
There's quite a few tool references, which always come in handy.
So one thing I will say, at least in our case, is that you really don't know how well something will engrave until you actually do it.
Right.
So the tool has some experimentation needs. You need to try. For example, this star, the compass star, looks really great in everything I've tried to engrave it. And we're going to show it to you in a minute in wood. I've not engraved anything else, I don't think, on wood that you see here, but we have engraved other things on wood. So let us show the wood engraving, and we'll go on. So here is the compass rose on wood, and I really like that, right?
Yeah, it's really nice.
And also this device allows you to print text. Anything that you can receive in picture or you can capture on your computer screen, you can print. So that can be your logo, your name, anything. Overall, I'm very pleased with it. It is a simple device. It prints an area of 80 millimeters by 80 millimeters. I guess let me show you this. So here you see the laser moving. It is not engraving right now. It is on a very low power setting, and that really defines the area. Like if you had a coaster or something, it defines the area that your print will go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's kind of making its perimeter.
Yeah, so that's all it does there. So this is a useful feature. One of the things that I really like about this device is, for example, if you wanted to engrave this or something really big, let's say we have a big thing, a lot of the other inexpensive laser printers, you need to attach this to a bed, and the bed moves, which makes it very limited. You cannot put your symbol or name on something really big, right? Unlike that, however, with this little device, you just lift it and you can put it on top of what you want. Right?
Yeah.
And now you can go on the table and do something in a corner, right? You can embellish anything you want. I really like that feature versus the ones that have a set bed that look more like a 3D printer. Does it make sense? Or like a printer.
Right.
So
this one doesn't have a bottom to it, essentially, so
right.
You can set it on top of whatever you want to engrave.
And to me, that is a very attractive feature. Would you call that a feature?
Yep. Design.
And then again, we put it there, and if we do the frame positioning, I don't know if you can see the laser, we know if we're in the area that we want to go, right? So it goes from right to left. The front of the machine is here. So right now it goes from right to left, so it shows you the width of what you're going to engrave. If that makes any sense, does it?
Yeah.
And then when you are ready to print, and here is the software. It's a pretty simple software. You can import pictures. I have here a Goofy, as you can see. And you can import pictures. And you can see here I have a collection of things. We really like the Celtic knot. And I have some airplanes and a piece of bread, and here is a couple of wheels, a seahorse, some trucks, and the compass rose that we talked before, right?
You can tell we have kind of a tool, animal, and nautical theme going.
But it can be anything you can imagine, right? If I was to say a negative, you never know how it will print until you actually print it, right?
Well, yeah.
So here I have Goofy, and it will automatically scale your picture. And you can see it scale both dimensions. Do you see that?
Yep.
And then if I'm good to go, you notice here if your width and height, 40 and 52. So if I go to 80, which is the biggest dimension, it automatically went to 79.846175.7758, which keeps the, what you call it, not the dimensions, the ratio in the correct level. And when it finished, you see here the preview. And we're going to try and print this so we can show you a little bit the process and some picture of the software. Before you go there, you can bring in black and white, do discrete engraving, which is my favorite. And the controls, there are three different controls. Laser power adjustment, which is how much power you leave to the laser. Depth and adjustment of grade of engraving. And contrast ratio. Contrast ratio is the first. Do you see that here?
Yes.
And this is the only that you see in the software. Like if you change the contrast ratio, you saw Goofy got darker, right? And you can give it less contrast and it will become lighter. So depending on what you want, you can change it and you can see that live. What you see is what you get, right? Then frame positioning, what we were showing you earlier, this will show you where the print will start. You can refer to center and you can also nudge it with those arrows to where you want the laser to start, right? It's the default starting point is just back to start point, and you can probably hear the laser now moving, right?
Yep.
All right. So let's turn it on so you can see a little bit of it printing. Okay. So let's start, and you're going to see it moving and start engraving. I'm not sure how much you're going to see right now, but this is the level of noise that the machine makes, and it has a fan that is constantly on. I don't know, can you hear the fan or not?
Yeah, I can hear the fan, but it's pretty soft.
Right. I don't know if it is visible in the camera. Whenever the laser goes to high power to engrave, you can actually see a little beam from the laser head going all the way to the surface, but we're not sure if it is visible in the camera. Right, but can you see it, Miss Wizard?
What we're getting is pulses.
Well, that's what it does. I mean, that's what the laser engraves.
But it's hard to say that there's a full beam there.
Okay. So this is a very versatile device. We've used it in a lot of things, and some of the items that we've built around the house I have engraved with either our logo or nice pictures to kind of embellish them, right? It can engrave clearly wood, paper, and if you want to engrave in metal, you can, but you have to first coat it with something, right? For example, you can take a permanent marker and coat the metal, and then you will engrave the metal, and then you clean it with some alcohol. I know it seems like a weird way to do it, but that's how it does it.
Okay.
I've engraved one of my laptops, and I think that came out very nicely. Maybe we'll show it to you in a moment. And as we are talking, we have it here working, and it prints a little bit of the picture of Goofy we showed you a little while ago. Now this is an Innsma. What is it? And there are many, as far as I understand, they're identical. They look exactly the same as this device, but with different color. This should be a sub $50 purchase. I mean, we bought it 6 months ago, so it might be more expensive now, I don't know. But there are many of them available. And again, I did not regret that. I really like that I can put that in anything and it can engrave, which makes the small footprint not as much as a problem, right? Mm-hmm. Because even if you buy, let's say, a traditional printer looking one that is double the footprint, it still can only print something that you can fit in the table to move with it. Where this one, you can print on anything. You can print on a wall, if you can fit it, you can print on it, right? And Miss Wizard sometimes complains that it has a smell.
Well, I think that depends definitely on what material it is that you're engraving. The paper tends to have a little bit of a burning smell sometimes. The wood, you know, the wood really doesn't have that much of a smell. And it's not an odor, it's just a little something I noticed.
Right, and it's not the machine, it's actually the material that it engraves. So as we're doing that, we talked about the cost. Any downsides? Have we found anything we don't like, Miss Wizard? I really don't think I found anything I like, other than the fact that you have to experiment. You have to print an example of something first to see if it prints well.
The one thing I would say is that because of the size of the machine, right, you can't make something really huge. Like you couldn't print a picture that was, 20 inches by,
Right.
So you would print something that would fit underneath the machine.
You can stitch it, of course, and that's why it does that line that tells you where it starts and stops. But that will be complex, and in all honesty, we have not tried to stitch things together to make a bigger picture. So
there's a lot of potential for error.
Right. But so far I have not found anything that I wanted to print that was bigger than the 80 by 80 max. The software is simple and intuitive. If that fails, would I buy another one? I think I would. I like it. I like the flexibility it gives me. If it was twice the size, do you think it would be too big to be portable? That would solve it.
No, it's very lightweight, even at the current size.
Right, I mean, to address your concern about the size of the image. Let's say to put double the size, that would be a very good size, right?
Yeah.
So even if it was double the size, it would be a very good device, I think.
And one thing I think that you found that you might want to comment is that isn't there like a depth setting
Right.
for how deep you want your engraving?
Yeah, that was the depth adjustment that we saw them on the software.
Right, that makes a big difference, because if you're engraving something like paper, you want to go barely, just very...
So the engraving depth is going from 0 to 100, that's the scale. And for paper, I usually set it to 5. And for wood, I usually send it all the way to 100. At 100, it makes a nice engraving. If you use it at less, it will still print the picture, but it will not dig deep. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because, and something like wood, you probably want it to be deeper, right?
Right, I do, but I mean, it's like, it is a pretty straightforward scale, 0 to 100. In plastics, anywhere from 20 to 50% will actually engrave. So let us get you one of my computers show you how it engraves a plastic. So here is my laptop, and I've personalized it with 2 engravings. One is fairly light, but if you touch this one, you can feel it, right, Miss Wizard?
Yep.
So this is a little deeper, and this was done with 50, and this was done with 20 depth. So, for example, for personalizing laptops or cases or things like that, is a great device, right? It works very well.
Yep. Now, it doesn't do color.
No, this is an engraver, it's not a printer.
Right.
It cannot do color, but as I said, it can do characters, letters, names. I'm thinking we're going to start engraving our logo on the projects we build. It's funny, I can feel the little fan working here. The loudness of the machine, I wouldn't call it loud. You can hear the fan. The fan is always on when it engraves. But would you call it loud? I mean,
No.
You can have a discussion, you can hear it, there is no question about that, right? So as it engraves, you can see here the parts that it is finished engraving turning red, and the rest of the picture remains black, right? So you always have an idea exactly how much it's printed. And then if you go and you look, I don't know, can you move and look at the... So you can see here the laser beam. As the laser increases strength to engrave, you can see the beam all the way from the head of the laser all the way to the wood. And I think that's a very intriguing visualization of the laser at work. And you can see Mickey start forming there. Start forming there. And I don't know, I just think this is a very interesting thing to look at as it's working. This machine, right? And of course, the more complex it is, the longer it takes. And you can see the little fan here in the back is always on. It's a pretty straightforward machine. It has some manual controls there on top. One of the things that we can improve, for example, our 3D printer, we can put an SD card on it and it doesn't have to be connected to a computer. It can print by itself. This requires that you're attached to a computer. You can only print using the software. There is no other way to do so.
But it comes with the connection cable and a
It comes with everything you need. Yeah, it comes with everything you need. But I would have liked if I could just put a card and leave it because it is slow, for example. Leave it to print and then I do other things, you know, not use my computer kind of tied up. So this is my computer that is designated as the computer for this machine. Mm-hmm. It is the only one that I put the software in it. It's a nice little computer, but you know, and I think we did the first look of this too, so we might need to do a review in a little bit of time. Right? Mm-hmm. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this short review. We definitely enjoy using this little machine, and I would say I recommend it. This is not a sponsored video. We purchased this device with our own money, and I would purchase it again if I said. If you did like this video, give us a thumbs up, and also let us know if you like those reviews, the follow-ups to our first look videos, that in general you guys like. We get good performance out of those videos, right? So this is the first review we do. We've done many first looks, and we said we're going to do a review in 6 months or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So this is our first full review. This is a good project. For a hobbyist, I think it's probably the best. It is not expensive, and it does everything you would like it to do. Share and like this video if you like the content, and let us know in the comments what else you might like to see, or if you want some information about this machine that maybe we did not provide it. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, and the Urban Homesteading channel, stay safe, wash your hands, put your masks on, and we're going to see you on the weekend with another build. Farewell, friends.